showing out, making moves, no doubt. FFA pride, it's what we're all about. From classroom dreams to real world flair, we got the stories you won't find anywhere. Beyond the jacket where the stories unfold, voices of the future, fearless and bold. Tune in now, let the passion ignite. It's more than a jacket, it's a way of life. Beyond the jacket where passion meets purpose.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Beyond the Jacket podcast. We are so excited to be sitting down with some cattle ranchers today. That's kind of my niche, my background. So I'm super excited to feature both Lauryn and Colin Pinkston. Why don't you guys introduce yourself to our listeners?
Yeah, go ahead, Colin.
Colin Pinkston. We grew up in Mercer County, Kentucky. We currently live in Fayette County, Kentucky, and
Lexington.
Yeah, Lexington area. And so basically didn't grow up, grew up in town, but was active in FFA and had friends and did the SAE projects and things, and always wanted to farm. And luckily we were able to do that, and here we are.
Here we are.
Yeah.
My name is Lauryn. I grew up here in Lexington. We've been here for generations. It's known as the horse capital of the world, and it's just such a special place. We get all 4 seasons. The only downfall is there's no beach. I wish there was a beach here, but Lexington is such a special town. I grew up in the horse industry. I grew up riding. I currently work in the industry professionally and don't have any horses, but would love to get back into it one day. And yeah, so we met, and horses are sold, and we're full-fledged cattle, and having fun with it.
That's awesome. You guys are first-generation cattle producers. I'm sure there was a lot of pressure to come on with that. What does it look like to build that operation from scratch?
So, and that's where, I guess it kind of skipped a generation. So
Okay.
Just full disclosure, before we, so basically growing up in the smaller community of Harrisburg, things like that, it was an agriculture based community, some industry, but mainly ag. And, I always enjoyed getting out and working with the local farmers and things like that, but I didn't really know a lot. But my great uncle, had a farm, and he used to raise tobacco before the tobacco buyout and things, and had 10 or 15 cows, just kind of smaller, playing. Also had a day job. And so basically I did learn a lot of things from him and then all the other people I worked for. But I always dreamed of one day of kind of doing my own thing, and this is where we're at now. So as far as the journey, it's definitely a learning process. I'm very glad that I had mentors in my life to kind of show me things, give me opportunities, turn me loose on a tractor when I didn't know how to drive one, all the things that now it's I'm having a hard time dealing with that now. I don't know if I should do that, because if he wrecks that thing, it's a big deal. But basically when I went to Eastern, I was working part-time or full-time that on a weekend shift at a factory. And then they tried to switch me to night shift, long story short. And so I ended up leaving there, and I said, well, the local stockyards in Richmond, which is where Eastern Kentucky University is, they do a sale on Fridays. Well, I hated Friday class, and they sold on Fridays. So I said, well, let me go over there, get a job. I'll learn a lot about the marketing cattle aspect, the grading cattle aspect. And that helped me really understand the sales process of which region likes our cattle, which region doesn't like our cattle, where do they usually go, who's bidding on them, who's actually bidding on them, where are they actually going. And so that kind of got the ball rolling there. And so we were able to get some farms leased, and started with, I would just buy about 25 to 30 open heifers, raise them up as breeding stock. At the time, the market for the breds and the opens were pretty similar, because this was several years ago. And so we would just sell nice open heifers to somebody that wanted to add 10 or 15, 30 to their herd. So that's involved in today of, I guess, about 260 steers, and we've got 40 cow and calf mama herd. And then we also do a square bale operation, since we are in the area for a good square bale market. We'll do 15,000 to 20,000 bales a year for that as well. So.
Well, there you go. I'm a 7th generation cattle rancher in South Florida. So everything you were saying really resonated with me. My best friend's family owns the livestock market about 30 minutes south of where I am.
Cool.
Yeah.
And those Friday classes are hard because I like to go to the Friday sales. So I can absolutely agree with everything you're saying, especially when it comes to being in class. That's no fun when you want to be getting your hands dirty, for sure.
Yeah.
I remember Christmas Eve one year we were baling hay, and after everybody was done eating their lunch or dinner or whatever, we were all out there baling hay, loading up the trailer. So
Hay on Christmas.
That's
like,
crazy. Just to think about that,
Yeah.
That's crazy.
yeah, a lot of people don't realize it's a 24-hour day,
Yeah.
7 days a week job in agriculture, for sure.
Yeah.
Miss Lauren, you said you had a background in horses. How did that kind of influence your love for livestock today?
I think it's just the general caring for an animal. This animal relies on you, and the horses is a totally different ball game because you have such a bond with this animal that you've mounted upon and are going to make dance like a dog. It's crazy the bond with a horse. And the cattle are different, because I can't even touch them. I don't have
not pets by any means.
I'm not mounted. I'm not. I can't ride the cow. And so, anyways, they're certainly here for a purpose, which has even been more fulfilling to know that this animal isn't here for a long time, but they are here for a good time, and they're well taken care of. They have arguably the best life of any steer in our area, but we're proud to say that this animal is here on this earth for a reason, and it's had a really nice life. And then it will go feed families and fuel their bodies for them to go do fun things. So I think at the end of the day, it's just the love of being outside and taking care of animals and having responsibilities and having things that rely on you, and the dogs, and being able to do it all together. And it's a little different, the bond, what got me initially interested in the horses, but it's been fun to carry that passion through and just different avenues.
Absolutely. It's 2 different worlds in agriculture. And I did riding lessons, little girl. It's going to be the next, who knows what, show horses. And my mom was like, okay, you can take lessons for a year. And if you like it after a year, then you can get into showing. I was like a month short of a year. I was like, nope, Mom, I'm done. I'll ride horses at the ranch when we gather during the summer and ship out west. But that was my love affair for horses. And then it kind of ended, and I went into showing cattle. So I guess I stayed in the industry, but maybe not your typical horse girl by any means. You downsized your home and your life to start your operation. You downsized your home to start? No?
Well, yeah, yes and no. So we.
I was like, wait, did I get that wrong?
No, I think so the house we lived in technically was smaller square footage, but we were just getting ready to try and build a house, and we had saved up and looking at some plans to get a house on a few acres and just kind of keep with the lease ground and things like that. And when this opportunity came available, it went from, building the house that she wanted, I wanted, to kind of not sacrificing, because to me, we're never inside anyway. But
it's okay.
But getting this property bought was definitely a big decision for us. And, not everybody would agree with, that house we were going to build, what do you think about a trailer? So, but here we are. So
So
No,
we had just gotten an entrance approved and like an address, and had ordered the culverts, and we're starting to clear the land. And
culverts are still here.
Culverts are still sitting over there. And we were, hopefully to be moved in by Christmas of 2026. So, it was still early. We got the call. Larry, showed up into our driveway at like 7:00 one morning and said, I got a call. They want to sell anyway. So it was July, I suppose, of last year. So it's been about a year now that we were just starting to ramp up with construction and lane clearing and getting ready for that when we said, never mind. At least we weren't further along though, if it was, if we were, about to be under roof or something, it all worked out. So it all worked out.
Yeah. It's crazy how life happens in front of you and you're like, okay, this is God's plan. We're just going to keep going with it. Yeah. Walk us through Pinkston Cattle Company as a whole. You guys said cattle, hay. What is the overview for the listeners so they can kind of grasp the concept of what you guys do?
So basically, acres wise, it varies because some farms we won't get the lease back, or some will add here and there. But our main objective is we'll buy steers, let's just say November, December. We have bought as late as January. Sometimes we buy through December into January, depending on how the market falls. And so we'll get those in between 4 to 6 weights. Try to stay heavier cattle. I've had a lot better health out of that. But if the market doesn't allow, then the market doesn't allow. Basically, we'll take those cattle, bring them in, condition them, and try and stay on like a grass type rotation. We're kind of big into the rotational grazing. Most of the farms we have, we're lucky. We've made improvements because the landlords have been open to making those improvements with us. So we'll take, for instance, one farm, it'd be 2 farms conjoining, ends up being about 320 acres together, and it's cut up into about 12 different pastures. Most of them have city water to the pasture as well, so automatic waters, and the clean water helps out tremendously. Some of them do have ponds, but the way we've tried to work the ponds is put a pipe through the dam that runs into a tank and fence the ponds off. And that works pretty well. And then as far as the hay operation, basically I would always square bale a little hay, grew up doing hay, and didn't say I always enjoyed it, but it was good practice. And throughout the calves, it was always good to have some square bales around for sickness and for baby calves and things like that, getting everything in the barn handled. And that turned into, I need 100 bales. Well, I need 200 bales. Well, I need 300 bales. And then it turned into the farm store in town had contacted us, and we had used to take him a few loads when he would run short on his hay, but he got busy with a lot of other things. So now we basically bale the hay for them, drop it off in wagons, and that is a really good system for them and us. And on the grass hay, we just do pretty much grass hay. I would consider it like a pasture orchard grass mix. We'll drill some orchard grass in, but there'll still be some fescue. The alfalfa world around here is pretty tricky. There's a lot of people that do it, and we've got ground for it. The hardest part is the humidity, which you probably know in Florida. So
I understand that.
Yeah. And we hardly ever, this year's been an exception. Springtime, we're about 4 inches behind on rain right now. So that's kind of the square bale side as far as just a grass hay. It's a good protein, but not a high quality alfalfa or anything like that. Since we did just purchase this land and it doesn't have fence, it does have a water line, but fence is going to be slowly added. And so the plan now is we'll probably drill in some alfalfa or some better grass where we can secure that it's going to be here in 4 or 5 years to get the investment back out of it. Then the cows and calves, we do, like I said, about 40 mama cows just on one farm we have leased. And they're Angus-based cows. We try to run Simmental bulls. And the reason for the cows and not all steers, I guess it was about 2020 when things started really ramping up. To me, I didn't think the cows at that time had caught up with the calf market. And I was worried about the calf market crashing immediately,
Oh yeah.
So I was like, well, if at least if we can diversify a little bit, if the steers aren't making any money, then the cows probably will. If the cows don't make any money, then the steers might. So kind of a little safety net. And it's worked out pretty good. Like it's funny, I was telling some people as far as the yearling market right now, those cows and calves are probably worth more than a load of steers right now, weighing 900 pounds, which yes and no, I guess as far as profit wise, it's money in on them. I'm trying to think of what else we got.
Well, you mentioned diversifying income. We've got to building a decent portfolio of rental properties, and he's done a great job. We've not done any new builds in a while, but that was something he was kind of teetering out as I was coming in, kind of in conjunction with the early 2020 chaos. So that kind of helped just take advantage of when you can get a good deal in, or works.
Yeah, you always got to have pretty much a day job that supports your farming habit right now. It's the way.
Absolutely. I was going to ask about that, and it's a hot topic right now. Do you have off-farm income as well as farm income? And I know it's kind of heavily debated, and people have a lot of different opinions about that, but what's the case for you guys?
Yeah, both work full-time jobs. I work at the fire department in Lexington. On top of that, like she said, we've got a couple little rental houses, and the rentals is more of a retirement aspect. They don't make much money, but if we can make the payment and then have something paid off in 10 or 15 years, then that'll amount to something. But I guess not agricultural related income, but one thing that's been an advantage is kind of some of the construction work and things. Equipment that I've needed on the farm, I've been able to purchase because I do side jobs with them in other places. And it can be agricultural. Like we bought a seed drill. So we do seed other people's pastures. We bought a skid steer for the square bale operation to pick up with an accumulator versus picking up by hand. That thing pretty much stays as busy as we can keep it busy, and then too, another hot topic is, the urban developments and subdivisions going in. For instance, there was one down the road that went in, and I was so upset about it, this, that, and the other. But to be honest, it's been a good thing that's happened to us, because I bush hog over there in the subdivision. I go do finish work for the builders. I go do a lot of things. So I think there is a fine line of, I'm not going to stop it. But if it's able to help me make another payment on my farm to secure my little piece of the pie, then I'm going to embrace it in what it is. I mean, and also too, with that, the green spaces that have been cut off those pastures have also been opportunity to lease. So a lot of the people that afford the land at the moment don't want to farm it. They just want to live on the farm. So you go to those people and approach them and say, hey, I'll take care of this place, give you a little bit of rent, and you just kind of let me know what you want your do's and don'ts to be, and have a good working relationship. And that helps people like me get into the industry, because of nothing being necessarily passed down at the moment, or like, here, take this over for now, things like that. So
Absolutely. No. Where I live and where I'm from, development is killing us at this point. Like, Florida has slowly become like, everybody down here in agriculture calls it the mouse kingdom. It's probably more of a derogatory term towards Disney, but we get a lot of tourism from it, and
Yeah.
it helps us economically. So
Yeah.
it's a love-hate relationship.
Yeah.
But where we're located in South Florida, my granddaddy always said that our ranch needs to look like Central Park.
Mhm.
That land never needs to be developed. If
Mhm.
somebody goes and takes a drone picture of it, he wants it to be green space, whether somebody's farming it, having cattle, or it just grows up and stays there green, because it's like a family member at this point, and no one wants to see it developed. And we've worked through this past year doing some conservation easements and such. But
Yeah.
when you were talking about the land clearing side of things, my cousin, he's like our manager, if you will. He's always there day and night, and he started a land clearing business in the thick of all of the development. And he says it all the time. He's like, I make more money land clearing and have made just as many connections land clearing for this development as I have for ranching. And it's hard because you get the benefit of it,
Yeah.
but you also have to watch the houses or the subdivisions go in.
The traffic, the people, not know how to drive down the road with the tractor.
Absolutely. No, there's a lot of factors that go into that. And I think what you're saying, Colin, is like you have to find the positive in it. And a lot of ranchers are having trouble finding, agriculturalists in general are having trouble finding the positive in the development, and we can't fix it.
Yeah.
There's no coming back from it. So we just kind of have to embrace it and find the positive in it.
Yeah, I mean, in a perfect world, like, I'm with you. I'd rather not, like, the backstory to that farm, you know, she had it in her will that it would never be subdivided, but it just depends on how much money somebody's got and their lawyers to get that. And I guess nobody contested it, you know, so, but, you know, I don't have enough money to buy every farm in the area, and you can't,
no one does.
You can't necessarily manage, you know, somebody else's, I guess, lifestyle, or you can't manage what they bought the property as theirs. We don't want people telling us what to do with ours, and we can't necessarily tell them. And I that's the way I see it, is like I said, just, I can't stop it. And, but if I can go in and maybe get a smaller lease farm out of the deal and some off-farm income to help pay for our property, I'm living with it and trying to make the connection, because, you know, that's
make the best of the situation you're giving, I guess. We're getting towards the end of the episode, and I hate it because I probably could talk all day about subjects on this kind of thing, but what's a piece of advice you would give somebody that wants to take the same path of you? Maybe Miss Lauren, you can answer this one.
You know, I get this question a lot. You know, people will say, well, not exactly that, but, you know, people will say, how do I get involved? How do we get started? How do you do this? And I always feel bad because I feel like I never have a great answer for that, because because I just met Colin and he was like, here's what we're going to do. And I was like, that sounds great. Here we go. and I just went along with it and, you know, just kept a smile on my face, tried to be a team player the whole time, and, you know, just do all that we can to help achieve goals and dreams. So I think it's tricky that I don't want to say waltz into it, but I just kind of stood on his skirt tails and just followed him along and supported him along the way. So I think, to answer your question, my best advice has always been, with anything in life, that it's not what you know, it's who you know, and making those connections, you know, taking the time to shake hands. I went and gave a little chat to a group of girls, and that was one of my main things. I said, shake someone's hand, look them in the eye, say your first and last name. You know, you may not be best friends with this girl right now, but your friendship may introduce you to somebody else down the road, and you just never know. Like, wake up every day putting your best foot forward and take advantage of opportunities when they're presented to you, even if they're uncomfortable. And, you know, Colin's done a lot of that with his opportunities young and when he was in college and at the stockyards, and learn when you can and take advantage of a mentor when you find one. And especially in this ag industry, people, anything, people want to share and teach you about things that they love. So these, you know, old farmers, they want to see this next generation take over. You know, they can't farm forever. And we see a lot of that in our community of, you know, our beef cattle meetings, our
We're some of the youngest in there.
We're imbalanced. We're imbalanced, and we need to get our people. We get everyone's busy. Everyone's got a lot going on, but being active in your community, making those connections. The only reason that we have this farm is because we made small little touch point connections with this couple for years, and not everybody's journey is the same, and we've been very blessed with a lot of great opportunities just from being in this area. But I think it's just being around the right people and being open to learning, not being afraid to ask questions, taking risks. Colin always says, don't risk so much that if you lose it tomorrow, you can't pay your rent or whatever you say something along those lines. But it's true. You don't have to see, all the things that other people do and think I've got to have this tomorrow. It takes a lot of time. And
Absolutely. All that's very valuable advice and things that move on. What were you saying, Colin?
Oh, nothing. I was just to lead on her point. The biggest farm we have. Sorry, I fiddled stuff. The biggest farm we have leased, and I would say the nicest. And she asked me to lease it, and I told her no. Because I was like, at this time, this was when I had 30 head, and this was going to be a big deal. A lot of capital, a lot of equipment needed. And she worked with us so much that she said, well, I'll hold on to the tractors that I have, let you use them for a year. You do all the maintenance on them. And she said, I'll give you a discount on the first year's lease. And she genuinely wanted us to succeed.
She wanted you.
Yeah. And wanted us to be there. And I think back now of I was so close to just saying thanks again, but no, I was scared to fail. So scared to fail that I didn't want to do it. But I'm so glad now that if she wouldn't have worked with us and I wouldn't have just done it, then this whole deal would look a whole lot different. So,
and I think there's so many people that are in that situation, and we've noticed, some of these old farmers, their kids may not be interested in the land, and they are heartbroken that their children are not as interested in farming, and it's expensive. It's not a glamorous, it's so rewarding, but it's not easy. And I think in our situation, we found that some of these older farmers who have this land, genuinely just are so thankful that people in our generation want to come, want to care, want to work, want to improve, don't want to, sit on your front doorstep begging to be put in their will, just take care of the land for the sake of taking care of the land and being appreciative of it. We putting improvements in and going the little extra steps with stuff. And it means a lot to people. Just like with it means a lot to everyone when you care.
It pays to be a good person. At the end of the day, it pays to be a good person.
It does. I said, absolutely.
Being able to take those risks and take that leap of faith. I mean, there's been more times than I can count that I've wanted to say no because I was scared of failure. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, I think I've learned more through failure than I ever have through winning something or being successful. Right. Because I don't know. I guess kids just these days, I'm a kid these days. Sorry, but a lot of my peers, that's probably a better word, for lack of better terms, in these college classes that I'm going to, they can't hold eye contact. They can't shake your hand. And I mean, I grew up in ag. Those are two things you cannot mess up if you want to be a professional person. And we were having conversations like that in class the other day, and I was like, we have lost the art of communication and connections with people. And even though this is virtual, I mean, I'm really thankful for that because I get to make the connection with you two today. But it's not the same as it used to be. And the older generation, they crave that connection and those people to come help facilitate the next generation. And I think you guys are doing a great job at it. Excited to see where it goes in the future. And I've enjoyed meeting and getting to pick your brain, both of you today. And listeners, thank you for joining us again on another Friday and tuning in to Lauryn and Colin's episode. We look forward to seeing you again next Friday.